Oh, let's go.
Oh, we're going. Testing.
That's going to be very loud.
Is it? Oh. Should we bring the flowers?
Do you like a little sock? So that's probably going to actually... Oh, yeah, just hide. Just to hide
gonna block
it. No
us?
one can tell that it's a microphone.
But is it going to block us?
I don't think so. It definitely will. It definitely will. So, Sammy.
All right. What's going on?
Just trying to act like, yeah, I don't care there's a camera in front of me.
Oh, you got something here?
Good, yeah?
No, not good. No. No, here, I'll put you. I'll place you in the right spot. No, you're so in the wrong spot. It's on the bottom.
Oh, there.
No.
Wait.
Yep, that.
So, guys, today we're going to... I still got it?
No, you can't see. Oh, yeah, you're good. You're good.
Oh, I actually can't see. Oh, shit. Okay, we'll just
It's
leave it.
actually never there.
Yeah, we'll just leave all this in. This will be great.
You will.
Yeah, I definitely will. Yeah.
All
So,
right. I was about to... I'm chill.
All right.
Alright.
I'm still drunk. That's gold. Oh, that's right. I can't drink a
Is
sock.
there hair in your water?
Yeah. Just a bit. No, that's what I ordered. Can I just get a large hair watermelon? Oh, this is just not about mental health at all.
I mean, this is an example.
I mean, unless it is for you. I mean, I'm cool with whatever. All right. Well, let's explain to the viewers why we got you back. Because the video genuinely died out last time.
Oh, did
And
it?
well, that's why I couldn't. That's why, because I was just going to do that. Yeah.
I just thought you.
I thought you were mates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we missed one final question. So for everybody at home, the two questions I always try to finish on is, yeah, true, home is where the heart is. Always try to finish on is, which is the one we said before, which was, do you practice a form of like meditation or mindfulness or spirituality?
Yeah.
And then the second one is, where would you like to see mental health regarded or the industry moving and evolving in the next 20 or so years? And you had a really good answer to that, and I wanted to bring you back on for that. So, without further ado,
So we're doing that. We're good on the first question.
good on the first question, not so good on the second question. Because basically the second question was, so, part 2, coming soon. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
Yeah, so I know we've kind of chatted through, like, specifically we were talking, because I remember I asked you, like, in terms of mental health, like, what term, like, you know, what were we exactly talking about?
Yeah.
And so in terms of things like overall just general mental health, I think it's really important that the general community just have a very good understanding of how to deal with it, even if they don't personally have issues with their own mental health. But being able to recognize it and understand it and be able to assist people who may be having issues.
Yeah.
And I definitely touched on the fact of the youth mental health first aid certificate that you can get. So I did that in my uni degree, but I was actually just researching the other day because I wanted to do a first aid course. So if you were to go online and just type in first aid course, within that kind of spectrum of things, a mental health first aid certificate is actually underneath that. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really good.
Yeah,
Awesome.
so it's just a course. You can do it online or you can do it in person. So just like things like that just are really essential in being able to, as I said, understand and be able to recognize it even if you yourself don't experience it.
Yeah.
And again, touching on the fact that just being able to support each other is just a really massive thing in my book. I say it all the time. But without support, personally, my mental health would have just declined.
Yeah.
It was that support that I got from people who have experienced it themselves, but also people who hadn't experienced it were willing to kind of do their own research and talk to me about it and make sure that, you know, they understood where I was, you know, my good close friends. So yeah, just in the term of that, in terms of the community, and then when
sure.
in talking about in terms of the actual industry, I'd really like to see a bit of a better way of moving away from like the DSM-5.
What is that?
So the DSM-5 is, within psychology, that's the book that they have to go by in terms of labeling disorders to then be able to treat them.
Yep. I knew that.
Yeah. I'd really like to see a shift away from it being, you know, with certain disorders, with it being so clinical. It'd be nice to be able to have a bit more of a, again, just if we can get it within the community, I think eventually that can lead away from having it to be so labeled and so clinical.
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
You know, all these diagnoses and things like that.
Because it's like, kind of like, I feel when there's a label to something, that's almost like it's an outlier, like it's a minority.
Yeah.
Like if you're homosexual,
yeah,
it's because you're not like hardly anyone says you're straight. It's like the minority is that you're not straight.
Yeah.
So like you're exactly right. Like if we could just view anxiety and depression or any sort of mental health issue, it's like a total norm because everyone's fucked.
Yeah.
Everyone's completely fucked.
Well, I really.
So then it's all like.
Yeah. The more
some people aren't.
Yeah. But the more I think about it, like the more I enjoy your perspective of it being an emotion because it's so spot on. Like.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like when you get angry, you get certain feelings and you respond in certain ways. It's the same thing with anxiety. You know, not necessarily other things, but definitely with anxiety.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I totally forgot my point.
Well, that's a really interesting one you said because everyone, it's fascinating that everyone, I guess, in the corporate workplace is pretty much obliged or strongly encouraged to do a first aid certificate, and yet no one really knows about what to do when something's going on in someone's head.
100%.
So what did you actually do in the actual, so what was it called again?
It's called a youth mental health first aid certificate.
Yeah, and that's specifically targeted to the youth demographic?
Yeah, so it's targeted towards adolescents because the approach that it takes is understanding it when it starts happening. So, like for example, with me, how I mentioned that for me, everything really started when I was 12 years old. I didn't start actually understanding it and trying to manage it until I was probably 15, 16, and even further on into my adulthood is when I really started to manage it. So the thing with these types of, just, you know, with mental health disorder is being able to understand it from the beginning.
Yeah, for sure.
So if you're able to do that, and I know like it's a bit difficult, you know, within the course it talks about it because it's a bit difficult. You're not adolescents. You're going through so many changes anyway.
Exactly.
So how are we able to tell when something's actually a problem or when it's just a result of you're growing up, you're growing hair in places you never knew you were supposed to have hair and like
on the genitals. You know? The penis and the vagina. But yeah, absolutely, you know, teenagers and adult mental health stuff,
No, but interesting point that you said that. I was reading I don't know, it was some type of blog or something along those lines where this woman had, she really struggles with her mental health and she had written...
How old is she?
She's an adult. I have no idea. I've never read anything about her before, but she basically put out this blog or because she screenshotted the emails that were sent. So she basically emailed her boss saying, I'm taking 2 days off. I'm struggling with my mental health at the moment. And blah, you know, whatever else was said. And the boss's response was, "Thank you so much for, you know, letting me know. You know, if you ever, you know, need to talk about anything or if you ever need some type of resources, you know, that sort of." You would never hear somebody, like, it's not very common for you to call into work saying, "Hey, I'm feeling really depressed, like, you know, my depression is really bad today, I can't come into work."
It's true.
But it's totally fine for you to call up and say, "Hey, I've got, like, explosive diarrhea, so I can't come into work."
Exactly, Well, I've got explosive diarrhea, and it's just causing me to just, I mean, I can come into work, but how many seats have we got? I'm going to need some serious, and what colour are they? Just need a bit of help with that, because I'm spraying the bowl. Sorry. That was a bit too far. Oh shit. Pun.
But I mean, how amazing would it be if we started to live in a world where if we are
everyone
people
gets
who
it.
struggle, and if we are people who struggle with mental health, we don't have to feel embarrassed about it.
Exactly.
I feel like we need to, you know, if we need that day off of work because we just need to focus on ourselves. To feel 100% okay with doing
Or
that.
like even more so if there were like things put in place at work where you could focus on yourself. Like if at work, this is something that I want to see is that like probably in the corporate realm more. Maybe I'm kind of ignorant in that respect because I've never been in that industry. But like maybe just in workplaces, that if you're feeling kind of stressed, you are almost encouraged to go to like a little meditation room and just chill out. Everyone understood how to perform mindfulness on themselves and just do all that. Like think about just, I mean, from an economic perspective, like the improvements in efficiency. Like,
oh my gosh,
it would be insane.
It would be,
you know?
It
would just be ridiculous.
Well, I think the major issue is that, and we did talk about that a little bit last time, because generally the people who don't understand mental health the most are the ones that actually end up having the most negative effect on it.
Thanks very much.
Thank
you. We're just getting, this is good. Cheers.
Cocktails.
These are definitely not alcoholic. Cocaine. It accents the water.
But
so thanks for coming on today.
No, but I do find though that like within the corporate realm is where people are actually less inclined to talk about it, because if you do, then you're seen as weak.
Absolutely.
Or you're seen as, you know, somebody who can't handle their own. And, you know, there's this very power-driven, you know, within the corporate world. It's all about having the power, and if you're vulnerable, then you can't have the power.
Exactly.
And that's why probably they don't have those types of things in place. But, yeah.
See, that is fascinating right there, though, because I've become 1,000 times, and you would know because we've been friends for ages, and like I personally have become so much more personally empowered since talking about this sort of stuff, and you have as well. Like it's just it brings about a sense of self-awareness where it's like, oh shit, I know that these things are just gonna spark my anxiety, or these things are gonna fucking make me feel like a bit of shit. So I just put things in place in my life that don't do that, and I'm always feeling good. Always feel good.
And not only that, along with that, you're more productive. Like, you are so much more productive. Like you said, you know, being sick this last week and you're bedridden, like, it was driving you nuts.
Oh yeah.
But it's not because you need to go to work and make money and that's what you're thinking about. You actually enjoy what you do, and you love what you do, and it kills you to not be productive. Whereas,
missing out on life. Really,
Whereas a lot of, you know, I feel like the generation, like, at the moment, like the 45 to 60, they're in a generation where they were always told to get a job, work a 9 to 5, and you do it, and even if you don't necessarily enjoy it, you do it because you get a paycheck. And you know, there are so many people that work just for the paycheck, and you know, I'm not saying that that's not something that some people have to do, you know. But I think in terms of the, you know, exactly what you're saying, if we had a better approach about the mental health aspect of things, you'd just be so much more improved around every area of, you know, whatever job it is you're doing. Even if you don't necessarily like the job, if you can also focus on your own personal development, you're just going to go up and up. You know, you're not going to stay at this plateau. You're not going to stay at that level and just, you know, in most cases decline from there.
Exactly.
So,
Well, isn't that fascinating that, like, everybody knows the term midlife crisis, and that's like a normal thing. It's like, they're just going through a midlife crisis. What do you mean they're fucked? Like that's not a good thing. Like, we've got to sort that out, you know. Someone give him some cocaine, for God's sake. Someone hook him up. Yeah, I know. It's kind of like that's product placement. I'm also a drug dealer. Just goes along with the whole
find me on Wicker.
You find me at bigpapa69.org. Just look up for Revis. I'll be under that. I mean, it's my code name. This isn't going public, is it?
Probably. You're the one posting it.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. I've got full
if it makes
consent.
it there,
It'll be taken down. I completely agree with that for sure.
So I don't know if there was anything else you kind of wanted to chat about that, but I totally agree with what you're saying in terms of if we could implement things into workplaces, like.
And what are your things? So mine's like my 10 Commandments, which I use just gratitude writing and meditation. I think we touched on this before, but like let's put it in a corporate perspective. What would you like to see implemented in the future?
Definitely the gratitude. Like,
it's a good one, isn't it?
It's just it's one of those.
It's fucking good.
It's really good. Usually it's a bit too beady for me if I have beetroot, but it's really nice.
Oh, that's beetroot, is it? Thought it was blood.
Now I'm completely lost my train of thought.
Implementing it to the workplace.
No, but when I started writing in a gratitude journal, like even just 3 things a day, at night or in the morning or whatever it is, just writing things that, and it doesn't need to necessarily be like, I am thankful for. I am thankful for. It can be like, just, I love the people that surround me. Like, you know, really consciously thinking about, because, you know, I touched on it last time, but like, this life is so fragile. Like, we only realize how fragile it is when something bad happens, or, you know, those types of, like, it's so important to just be mindful of how much you have to be grateful for.
Definitely.
And it just, like, when you realize how much you have to be grateful for, that will transfer into the rest of your life, because you will just live with so much joy. You will live with pure joy if you have an understanding of how beautiful life can actually be. But when you're suffering with mental health, you know, issues, that can be really hard to see. It's hard to see that light. So if you have things in place, like, for example, in the workplace, if they're seeing you kind of going down, you're not maybe necessarily thinking like, oh, maybe I should do something, because you're going into a place where you can't really switch out of it. It's really, really
can't get out of your own head.
Exactly. So if you had somebody tap you on the shoulder and say, hey Tom, I've noticed that you're getting into these old habits, you know, we know what to do, like, and they talk about that within the mental health first aid course as well. The biggest, like, one of the best things to have is one that prevention aspect of targeting it from the source when it happens. And the other thing is having action plans in place. For when for when things go south. So, with that, it can be from the really low spectrum of certain mental health disorders all the way up to like anorexia nervosa. So that can be, on a very large spectrum of things. But, just imagine a world like that where people are just so aware of how everybody else is feeling and not afraid to say, hey, are you okay?
Yeah, exactly, But not from like a everybody sing Kumbaya and we all love that. Like, I mean, that'd be great. But
I would love that. I would love to live in an intentional society. It's like my dream world.
But like, where it's just like, I mean, there's always going to be shit kickers in the world and people doing whatever they want, but like, to the point where just, for the majority, people just get like, oh shit, like, how you going today? Where it's like, something that I have always said from the start of this is like, as a kind of perceived sort of larrikin, blokey sort of person, the way I try to just like, this is when I'm trying to target like the youth male demographic. When I say it's like,
really
it'd just be easy if we could all talk about mental health and anxiety the way we talk about chicks and footy, and sport and stuff. Like, where it's just like, because that was the thing that saved me. It was like my mates being able to talk to me and me being comfortable to talk to them. When you're that anxious and when you're in that place, which obviously you and I have both been in, there's always a degree of social anxiety. Like, you can say you have specific social anxiety or whatever it is you have, but when you're that anxious, you've always got social anxiety because you're always thinking about what other people think. And wouldn't it be great if, like, even just that little bit, it was just easy for you to be like, man, I'm just struggling today. And be like, oh shit, man, like, what's up? Like, I'll give you 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I mean, that's just, it saved my life. For sure. So, yeah, I definitely agree.
You're going to make me emotional now.
It's always a pleasure, my friend. And we'll finish it off. Hang on, we'll finish it off. We'll cheers. We'll do a cheers, and then we'll drink, and then I'll cut the video. Ready? To wives and girlfriends, may they never meet. That was good.